Hey guys, welcome back. It's Joey. You're watching Vegas D-Tech. Welcome to the lounge. I have a couple of reports that I wanted to read out to you today, with also some comments and concerns that some of the subscribers have sent in to me. And so let's go ahead and get to that here. First thing I wanted to read to you here is a couple of comments from a couple of the subscribers here. So Citizen X. What I'm seeing a lot here, man, is when I'm watching some YouTube videos and so forth concerning, the lake drought and the water drop here, I get to see channels where people are looking really professional and they're getting on the YouTube and telling people that, hey man, Las Vegas, we're doing a great job, man. We don't have to worry about anything about the lake. We don't have to worry about the water. We have an implement with the third straw in there that's going to guarantee that the water is going to be coming to Las Vegas for years and years to come, so don't be afraid to buy. And a lot of times when I hear all this stuff about, oh, Vegas is only using 6%, don't worry, everything is great, everything is wonderful, keep coming, I always have to take a look at the angle of the people that are making the reports. I have to scroll down to the bottom and try to click on their link and try to find out who are these people. And many of these people are either developers, investors, or realtors. And you know what their angle is they just want you to come in, they want you to spend, they want you to buy, and they don't want you to fear about the potential of, water crisis. They don't want that. It's not marketable to talk about that, right? So, in this here, Citizen X says, you guys have to earn a living selling homes, but folks may track you down in 3 years, and some of those people may hold negative feelings towards you. What do you guys think about that? I mean, yeah, when I read that, I was like, yeah, absolutely true. You know what I mean? You have to be somewhat forthcoming with your information, man. I mean, if you're going to try to tell somebody about the community, about how the house is good, how the money, the investment is good, it's a great choice, you also got to let these people understand too that, you know what, are these guys really going to come out and tell you about the water situation that's going on? I mean, I almost have like a Saturday Night Live skit that I wanted to do when it comes down to a person buying a home, and it would go something like this, right? Hey guys, congratulations on buying your new home here in the Las Vegas Valley. It's great. It's a nice, quiet neighborhood. It's very safe. Schools are close by, man. You've got a 7-Eleven over here, entrance to the freeway. You've got the Smith's grocery store. Access to the hospitals are really close. It's really, really great, man. Great investment. Now, there's a little caveat to this, though. There is a little situation thing going on with Lake Mead. 90% of the water that Las Vegas gets comes from that lake. And we're down to about 1,044. So we've already hit inactive pool, and the first air pump, the first water pump is already out of the water, sucking out air. And we're losing water at about 1 foot to 2 feet a week. And, we have kind of a projected situation here of dead pool possibly happening somewhere around the 3-year mark. But anyways, now that we have all those formalities out of the way, let's go ahead and sign this loan out for a 30-year mortgage. These guys ain't going to tell you nothing like that. It's not inducive. It's not, marketably profitable for them to warn you about these type of things. You know what I mean? It says right here, I don't trust what the officials say. Ashley says, I don't trust what the officials say. These realtors are either in denial or just plain trying to get their money before they head out themselves. Okay, so anyways, in this one clip that I saw with the realtor explaining about how, in a teardrop kind of a format, she showed the very tip of the teardrop that Las Vegas only uses like 6% of its allotment, and they're showing all the progressive states down, all the cities in the states down the chart, using more and more, ending with Imperial Valley just soaking up the majority of the water. And at the end of the video, the lady goes, now, if you guys are still not, comfortable with buying real estate in Las Vegas because of the water drought, don't worry, because we have offices in Florida and we have no problem with water down there. So please give me a call if you want to go down there. As you can see, man, I just don't trust realtors, man. It's just like, they don't really care about the situation with the water. The city of Las Vegas, I really don't care. I don't think that they care. I mean, they invest $1.5 billion to put this tunnel in because you know what? That very first tunnel was never designed for this water to drop this low. You know what I mean? And they have the second pipe in there that at 1,000 feet, it will be sucking. So we're at what? 1,043? 43 feet of water, and the second pipe will be sucking air. And they knew that this day was going to come, man. There was no doubt about it. They seen the plans that the other water districts had about, you know, reducing water coming into Lake Mead. And they were just like, oh, man, these restrictions, man, they might put a pinch on this city. We got to do something to save the city here. We got to do something for ourselves. And so then they went ahead and implemented drilling this big old $1.5 million project in order to hit the third straw to go down there and suck the very last bit of water out of the lake to keep the party going in Las Vegas till the very last minute. They don't want the 2.5 million people in Las Vegas to worry about it. They don't want anybody to worry about it. Developers, investors, just, you know what? Long before we run out of water, all the other adjacent states below the dam here, Arizona, you got Mexico, Southern California, all those people are going to run out of water before we do, because we've guaranteed that we will be able to suck that last bit of lifeblood out of the lake. Now, my question is this, man. Who paid for that project, man? Where did they get the money? Where did they get the $1.5 billion to fund that water project, man? What city has that kind of money? You know what I mean? And then number two, somebody wrote in here, who gave Las Vegas the right to just sit there and put a straw in there for them to suck the last lifeblood out of a drying and dying lake before anybody else can have any more water? I keep on thinking, eventually, if it ever gets to the point where a dead pool situation happens, every successive lake above Lake Mead might go to dead pool too. And if they go to dead pool, if Lake Mead can't shoot any water out, what makes Las Vegas think that anybody above us is going to let any water trickle out of their dam into Las Vegas, into Nevada, into Lake Mead? Then all you'll have left is your pond with carp in it. And then what are you going to do? If 90% of the water that comes and sustains Las Vegas comes out of Lake Mead, how is the 2 million people here going to survive on just what water is in a dead pool state with nothing coming in and nothing coming out? All right. So anyways, man, I wanted to read you this article here that I have, and it came from the Nevada Independent. I was going to show you snapshots of it, but I'll just give you a screenshot here of actually what the low-level pumping station looks like. And I wanted to read you some notations, some quotations from there that I thought was pretty important. And it says something like here, it says, the move to turn on the pump station full bore is an indication of how low Lake Mead has fallen over the past decade. It says it was never constructed to go any deeper or below 1050 sea level. And at that point, the top of the pump is catching air, okay? Without the third intake, Southern Nevada would be shutting its doors. Yes. See, this is a lesson that I'm trying to say. You guys have already thwarted the first catastrophe. Legitimately speaking, if we didn't have these other implements in place to keep sucking more and more water out, Las Vegas would already be in a storm, a shiznit storm already. But instead of learning from that, saying, hey, man, we were able to dodge this one Hellfire missile, maybe we should just put the brakes on right now of developing and building until we can get a handle on this water situation. That welcome to Las Vegas sign should say, we are full, no vacancies, okay? And say until there's going to be no more permits for breaking ground, no more development, no more building, what we have is what we have until such a time as we can get a grip on these water levels where we can coordinate with all these other locks and dams and so forth and get these reservoirs built back up to where things look sustainable. Then we can open up the development again. In my opinion, that would have been the smartest thing to do. But then again, hey, I'm not the governing powers here of Las Vegas. So anyways, here it goes. It says, Pat Milroy, the former general manager of the Southern Nevada Water District, said in an interview, it is not out of the realm of possibility that Lake Mead could one day fall so low that the water cannot pass through the Hoover Dam. Okay? Her assessment of the situation came down to this. She said, I would work from the premise that it is going to happen, not that it's not going to happen. Okay? So that's Pat Mulroy, the former general manager of the Southern Nevada Water Authority. Not a realtor, not no, politician, not no governor or mayor of a city that's looking for profits. Here's a person that works right here, that is ground zero, in the trenches at the dam, looking at these numbers of what is actually going on. And she says that she would work from the premise that this is going to happen more so than it's not. Powerful stuff there, okay? Now, another person, Colby Pellegrino, the Water Authority's general manager for water resources, says that the projected models still show what he says is a zero probability of Lake Mead reaching dead pool in the short term. His idea of short term is within the next 2 years. He says that he doesn't see it going to dead pool within 2 years, but he says that the majority of his forecast models go out to where it is very probable between 2 to 5. So he says in the short term, 1 to 2, he doesn't see it going to dead pool. So what are we saying here? 12 to 24 months? He can guarantee that the water situation will be proper for at least 12 to 24. But beyond that, he can't promise it. The forecast models beyond that show dead pool being a very, very likely probability. So you're looking 36 months and on. Very, very likely probability here. So what's the situation? Do people, would you consider coming out to a city that is having these water problems here and considering coming from wherever you came from and saying, hey, I'm going to go ahead and make this investment on a 400, because that's what these homes are going for right now, which is ridiculous. I still say that these homes are $100,000 to $150,000 way overpriced. No way. Not when you can reach out across from one wall and touch your neighbor's wall. That's the kind of property that you get, crammed so tight that you can touch your neighbor's wall. You could basically hear a person arguing with his wife in the next house next to you, and you're paying $400,000 to $500,000 for that. Are you willing to come out to a city that is, has an unsustainable water future, where like authorities here are giving it, at 2 years or maybe 2 years or more, that this could be a serious problem? I sure wouldn't. Now, another thing too is I kept on saying that these guys here like to play games with moving water around, just to play with numbers so that they can release these numbers for the year or the summer, and so that the public can take a look at that and say, oh man, the water levels are on the rise. We must be out of this dilemma that we're in. But what they're saying is that moving around water to address the immediate risk at Lake Powell could accelerate the decline of Lake Mead, and it does not solve the long-term structural issue facing the Colorado River. Now, I've been saying this thing so long that I believe that what they do is they hold back water in one area, and then somebody makes a call and says, release the water, and they take a reading, and it makes it look okay to where the city municipality believes that everything looks good, no problems here, and then open up the water spills and send it down the way. But when you take a look at the entire water system in its totality, when you are to measure every single dam and all the waters that are stored back, and you get the median water levels, you could see that the crisis is still very, very dire, and there's no solution in sight. And it's really funny when you listen to these politicians, their only solution is, well, we can hope for a better year next year. We can hope for a better year the following year. How can you possibly hope that next year is going to be better, and that's your only solution? This thing with the third straw that we have here, that we put another straw, that is not a solution. That is just a workaround or a Band-Aid. Okay? Now, the thing that's really funny is, like, it's almost like Las Vegas sending out the message to every other state. Hey, man, we got ours, man. We figured our situation out. You better figure out yours. If push comes to straw, we've got our straw down at the bottom of the lake, man. We're going to suck ours out. So I don't know what you guys are going to do with yours. Now, the real thing that I think is really powerful is that California does have the access to all this water. California is the most powerful. They have the most water right power of all the states, more than, Arizona, more than Nevada. They have the power of water. So it's like somebody in power in California, when they need more water. See, right now, Imperial Valley uses more water than they're allotted. Each year, they consume more water. You know what I mean? Even though water restrictions are put on them, either they can't work within those water restrictions or they just don't care because they keep calling up and using up more water. So somebody's calling up, somebody in power, saying, hey, man, you know what? Our water, it's coming to a trickle, man. We're going to need more of that resource, man. Let me get some more of that precious H2O. They call up somebody here in Nevada, and that person in power says, open up the dam, let more water out, let more water out, right? And it just keeps on bringing the levels down, down, down in the lake. Now, you know, when I take a look at the water at the dam is probably going to reflect. That'll be the last place that you'll actually see the water really, really show signs. But what's going to happen is all the surrounding, you know, the shoreline of Las Vegas, that's where it's going to creep in, and you're going to start seeing fingers and coves all over the place. That's where you're going to see the water drought happen the most. And then the very last of it is going to be down at that dam. Like everything's going to be funneled right down in that area, man, because that's where the intakes are at, right down in that area, right? So anyways, man, I don't know, man. Going back up here to some of these comments here. Charlie Stevens says, very informative, loaded with stats. But how many ways can one articulate the fact that we are screwed? Yeah. Another one here, Paul, he says, this is like getting 1935 internet to supply a 2022 demand. Yeah, man, I agree. You know, you guys here have been sending some really, really great comments, man. It's really amazing the support that we're getting. And I got to tell you guys, all around the world, people are concerned about Lake Mead, man. And I want to give a worldwide shout out, man. You know, to all my brothers and sisters in Hawaii, all of you guys there, man, have been giving me tons of support. I know that Hawaiians are actually struggling with their own situations out there with being displaced, pushed out, no real estate, nowhere to live. It's terrible, the situation going on there. And I can't even imagine resources on a limited island where there's no water coming in. I can't even begin to imagine the kind of debacle that is transpiring in Hawaii, man. So, you know what? Much love and support to all the Hawaiians that have been commenting on my channel. And look, around the world, guys, I have so many Australians, man, that have been supporting me. I feel like I have a whole family of Australians, man. They've been so supportive. New Zealand, man, so many of my comments are coming out of New Zealand. Awesome. Canadians, man, very big support from Canada. And dude, UK, every day I got some new friends across the pond in UK that are giving me much love and support. You know, and that's not to include everybody else that are even on the East Coast or North that are not even having any of these water problems here, that are doing well. Just for you guys to care and not give Las Vegas the middle finger. You know what I mean? I mean, yeah, I'm a resident of Las Vegas. I mean, I guess I am part to blame, but I have lived out here ever since '83, since I was a little 13-year-old boy, you know, and I remember when Las Vegas was just a little oasis. I mean, my dad retired from the military out here at over at Nellis Air Force Base. And, you know, I mean, I was raised in the military on air bases, and Las Vegas was the first city that I ever got a chance to experience civilian life. And I remember when Las Vegas was not on the map. When I say not on the map, nobody cared about Las Vegas. It was like rappers weren't trying to rap about, they were rapping about Dallas and Cali, Florida, Miami. They were rapping about all these cities, man, that were like on the map, but Vegas wasn't on the map. Vegas was just a place that you would come for a couple of days, you know, a weekend, come have fun, watch a show, get drunk, sit by the pool, have some, you know, buffet. And, you know, you would just go down to the water park down there, Wet and Wild. And then you would just wrap it up, man. And you would head back home and just tell all your friends about the great weekend or so, or week that you had out in Vegas. And that was it. Vegas was big enough. I mean, the people that lived here, the cost of living was good enough that all of the, all of the servants and people that are actually taking care of the people on the strip, everybody had a good job. Everybody had some type of a union membership, man. So you went down to the strip, man, and you got yourself a job. You had the culinary union backing you up or whatever. you became a bellhop, man, you became a valet, you know, you worked as a dealer, dude, you would make a good enough income, and the homes and the cost of living were so sustainable that you could have a decent life. And it wasn't crowded, it wasn't overpopulated, man. You could look out across the valley and see mountains and just see a whole bunch of vegetation and open air. And then all of a sudden, it just seemed like an influx of people discovered this oasis out here, and they wanted to move away from the cesspool, wherever the hell it is that they came from. They couldn't take it no more. They can't take their government no more. They can't take the taxes. They can't take all these crazy rules and regulations. And they wanted to come out to where it was none of that. And you're seeing this all over the place. Florida's seeing it. Texas is seeing it. Tennessee, Idaho, Vegas. So many places have been seeing this. People just migrating out of where they came from, and they're coming into one area. But then all this is doing is it's just creating more of the same thing that happened in those areas. All these little things are trickling in to whatever municipality that you guys are in. You guys are seeing mass migration of people coming in from other areas, and it's just a mess. And then when you compound it with this situation that can't be answered with Lake, there's no one answer that's going to help solve the situation with Lake Mead. There ain't. It's going to take a totalitarian, a total effort from all water districts to come up with a solution. I don't know what they are, man, but I tell you, if it was daylight right now, I would bring you over to my mom's house, and we would walk around, and I'll show you exactly what I've done to my mother's house, where we ripped off all the grass. When we moved in, we ripped up all the grass, and I just went and had 10 tons of rock dropped off in the front yard, and with a bucket, I was shoveling rocks into a bucket and redoing her front landscape, man, to where we didn't have any more of that grass. And then in the backyard, same situation, took all the grass out, and I actually put nice bricks all around across her backyard, so it's like it's like a big brick layout. She had a lagoon. I fixed the lagoon. It was flowing water, but then it was just like there was no reason for this big lagoon of flowing water, so I shut the pump off, and now the lagoon is just empty. You know what I mean? I was going to fill it with dirt and put flowers in it, but it's just sitting there. But my mom's house, man, no water gets used on the outside except for maybe little trickle, you know, water, whatever the hell you would want to call it, just for little teeny cactuses and so forth. Father's house is just right down the way. Same situation, man. Put in all rocks in the front and backyard. It sucks for his little dog, because I know the dogs like to go out there and walk around the grass, and they don't want to walk on rocks and stuff, man. It sucks, but we don't have we have no grass in my mom or dad's house. It's all desert landscaping. And, you know, I mean, I know for a fact, 100%, at least me, I'm doing my part to make sure that we're conserving. Yeah, so here in Las Vegas and in Green Valley, Henderson area, all non-essential grass that is, you know, not serving a purpose is being ripped up and replaced with landscaping, you know, rock landscaping. So I do see a concerted effort, you know, of people taking that seriously here. Now, the problem is, if the snowpack in the Rockies don't get better, if there's no better water coming in to the Colorado, the river cannot sustain the load at current rate. It cannot sustain this type of a load. The city's going to have to find a way to back off and let this water situation build up. We need the system to try to build up. It's going to take many seasons of rain, man, and many good snowpacks in the Rockies for this to happen. Like I said, guys, there's no one solution that's going to solve this. It's going to take a community effort from all these upper basin and lower basin states to provide us with some sort of answers, man. So anyways, man, look, I've already talked way too much. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Vegas D-Tech. I'm Joey. You're in the lounge here. We'll be doing more, you know, neighborhood walk and talks. We'll be doing more on-scene investigations and reporting out at the dam, out at the marina, out at the lake. But for right now, guys, this is the weekly wrap-up update situation going on here in Las Vegas. So thank you for hanging out with me here. It's Joey, Vegas D-Tech. You guys have a good night. You guys take care. Bye now.